everyone, and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 104, and it's going to be I think we're going to be a bit buzzing for this episode because we're going to chat through Liverpool's 2-1 win over Man United yesterday. I think firstly, just like what a win. Unbelievable performance from the team. Something that I'm going to be honest, I wasn't expecting a 3-1 win. I think you've got to. I was going into that game. I think mentioned it to a few people yesterday that like if it was a 1-1 draw or we'd have nicked a 2-1 win or something, I'd have been happy with that. But I think just overall the team performance, right from the very first minute, you could see the desire and the hunger from the girls to get the win from that game, really, couldn't you?
For sure. I feel like I think for both teams, the focus for them both isn't necessarily on like cup fixtures this season and obviously it's always nice to get far in those competitions, but I don't think that's the aim. And I think Vicky and Casey both before the game had said, look, obviously this is like a North-West derby, but equally both of our views, and we've all got one eye on the next game that comes on a Sunday, which is in the league. I think United obviously are pushing for top 3 this season, and obviously we're pushing for promotion. So I think neither team wanted to lose, but equally it wasn't their main priority. Yeah. The only thing I was slightly worried about was the fact that I didn't want anyone to get injured before Leicester, because for us Leicester's a massive game on Sunday, because they're probably the ones alongside Sheffield United that we're probably rivaling to get promoted this season, especially with those that they brought in. So it was almost like, I'm so glad we played a strong team, but equally like you were a bit worried.
Yeah.
But I think it actually panned out really well. Obviously winning was phenomenal, and I think it was a bit of redemption from our past fixtures against United haven't gone our way, so it was nice to finally get one over them and show. But equally, I think the best part about it was the fact that we proved that we still belong in the WSL. We still can put up a good fight against the teams in the top tier, and ultimately that's where we're aiming to belong, and it's where it showed that we can be involved in that setup, which I think is the biggest positive to take out of it.
Yeah, I think a big positive for me yesterday as well was obviously Riley Foster got her first starting goal for us, and 10 months on since she joined the club, I don't think she expected to wait that long, and neither did we. But obviously Rachel Laws came in the summer, and she's the experience. She's on number 1 this season. You knew that when she was coming in. But watching Riley yesterday, I was so impressed with her. Honestly, just I don't know whether you picked it up on the stream, but at the actual game, you could hear her like for the full 90. She was so commanding of a box and of the back 4, and she wasn't afraid to put herself out there in order to win the ball, or to pull off a save. And obviously, I don't think there's much that she could have done with their goal. It was a really good header from McManus, but yeah, I think just the entire 90 minutes she was just unbelievable. And I don't know if anyone's watched that post-match yet, but we'll link it above. But she's just so like collected as a person as well. Obviously in front of the media they have to be, and I think she was obviously going to be buzzing inside at being like a Liverpool fan as well, that she got one over on United. But she was just a great person to talk to as well. But what did you make of her performance?
I thought it was amazing. To sum it up, really, it's difficult because since she signed in January, we've seen nothing from her. Literally, hardly anything from her. And I think I had a slight suspicion that she probably would play this game because Laws has played every game so far, and it seems like that out of all the opportunities coming recently, before the performance that she did, you thought the cup games were going to be the ones where she'd come in for Laws and give Laws a rest, especially when we're playing nearly like 3 games in the space of 7 days. So it's crazy. But after that performance, that's, for me, it was almost same level as Laws. I think the one of the best parts actually was like 7 minutes in, where Tobin Heath gets a shot at the far post, and Riley's just like, nah,
she's
not
like,
going in.
Not getting past
Literally,
me.
she's like, absolutely not, girl. And that's like, that's tough, because when you just start a game, it's you want that time to settle in. And when that pressure comes at you from the get-go and they get an early chance, it's so easy to still be half asleep at it. But she was so focused and pulled off a great save, and great saves throughout, really. And she almost acted like another member of defence. Like, obviously you saying that she was commanding as well. She was getting the ball at her feet and distributing like that as well, which is a sign of a goalkeeper who's extremely experienced, but equally she's only 22, and this is her first game for Liverpool since she signed. So it was unbelievable, and I think she brought confidence to the back four, and hence the back four then was amazing throughout the game. Razza Roberts, by the way,
oh my god,
absolutely phenomenal at right back. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, Riley just restored that confidence in the back four, so then they can do their job, and she can make them feel comfortable that she's got it covered in the goalposts as well.
Yeah, I don't think there was, like, obviously you mentioned Roberts there. I don't think there was one player yesterday that started or came on that I wasn't happy with.
Same.
That didn't put in a good performance. Like, it'd be very hard to say who was your player of the match, because you were like, well, I'd give it to this person, but then I'd give it to this person, but then this person's also a shout, and it's just, like, obviously Rachel Furness was another level again. She's just, I don't see her stopping what she's doing now, because she's just full of confidence and in really good form. Mel Lawley's really kicked on this season. She played really well yesterday. Jess Clark was played really well yesterday. I thought she would have been the one to come off at half time, just because obviously she didn't play for so long, and I think she's been involved in every match, and I was thinking, oh, maybe she'll take it off at half time for this one. But obviously Thestrup came off. I think the way Vicky rotated their players in the game was really good. Obviously
it worked well, didn't it?
No one came off before they needed to. I don't think I think the game plan all along was to take those certain players off at those certain times and bring whoever on. And it just worked really well. Because like you said before, if you would have picked up an injury, especially to someone like in your defence, I think if a defender would have went off yesterday, we would have been in a bit of trouble. Obviously, with Becky James not 100%. Yes, that's why Roberts is in at right back. Obviously, Lucy Parry can't go straight in. 16 years old playing against United up against Tobin Heath. That would have been a bit unfair. But then she came on. Like, it's just, the squad just feels a lot bigger and a lot better this season. You feel more comfortable. You're not looking at your bench going, oh, well, who's that name? Like, what old are they? Blah, blah, blah. We did that a couple of times last season where our bench was very weak. And, you
I think we had like 4-3 some weeks. So.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'd look at it and you'd think, oh, there's no one who's a game changer if you're 2-1 down, or if you're 1-0 down. There's no one with a game changer to come on. Whereas now you have got those game changers really coming off the bench.
Oh, for sure. Like, you had Babajida, who's probably behind Furness, probably the second best player in our team at the moment in terms of form. And you've just got a pace coming off the bench when United are tired. So that, I think, maybe that was a game plan to hit them with pace after they'd fatigued in the first half. I think that was definitely something that Vicky had looked to do. But yeah, it just, I know what you mean. The squad just feels different this season, and like for us, we've been there when it's been absolutely dire. And I don't think they'll mind me saying that, but we've been to some absolutely shocking games. I remember even last season, United away, when Lauren James masterclass against us. It was horrible. It's horrible. That was the worst
game I've ever been to. Not in terms of just performance. I think just in like
the day.
Just the day itself was just not right.
Yeah, and then to have a performance like that sort of, it just makes you feel quite proud, because I feel like we've been able to witness that journey from like the great times to the torrid times to then hopefully rebuilding it now. So like that progression, we can safely sit here and say that, hold on a minute, like we are improving, we are getting better, and we are on the road to being where we want to be. But yeah, I don't know if you felt the same, but obviously being in the stadium, you probably would have felt it a bit more. But I just felt really like proud and just like deeply just happy about it because of all the crap that we've seen before, and to have something like this over the right on over. I don't know if they'd be our biggest rival in women's football, definitely in men's football, but to get that win, it feels really special. And you can just sense that something's building now in this team, and hopefully it just keeps going from strength to strength.
Yeah, completely agree with everything there. I think being at the game, like that was my first live match since March, I think it was, Atletico.
Yeah.
But I think the last women's game we went to was at Chester when we played.
It was Arsenal.
Or it might have been I don't know whether we played in a Continental Cup fixture or something like that afterwards.
I do think that was the last game,
I think it was
Chelsea one.
Yeah. So
Arsenal, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the last game at Prenton Park was Chelsea before Christmas.
With the torrid pitch.
With the really bad pitch, yeah. So it's a long time since I've got to see the women's team play live, and it was just, and obviously I picked up the perfect match to go back to because Man United at home is always going to be, as like Liverpool fans, it's always going to feel different. Regardless of whether it's the men's or the women's team, you're always going to have that little bit of rivalry because obviously we're so close to the Northwest Derby. So, but yeah, like perfect.
Just amazing.
Just unbelievable. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below about the game yesterday. Hopefully you all got to watch. It was really good, the LFC TV stream.
Really good.
As well. Just really quickly, what was like the little build up before it and stuff like that, like?
Oh, it was boss because they had Steve Hunter was on actual comms with Amy Rogers, and then I really feel really bad, but I don't know what his name is. It might be. I thought it was Peter, but the guy who's always on LFC TV, he was there. He was doing a bit of post match, and they had like all these graphics, so people could then see if they're watching it for the first time what each player looks like and what the formation is. So that was really cool. And then throughout the commentary, we've met Steve before. He's absolutely amazing on commentary, and you wouldn't want anyone else to be doing it. And Amy Rogers as well was great because you got an insight into sort of what a player thinks. So it was quite funny actually because I think we should have had a penalty against us in the first half for a handball. And Amy was like, "Yeah, that was definitely a handball. We got away with that one." So it's great. It was quite interesting.
And it was funny because there's like two like Man United's like they worked for the club like in front of us. I think they were like a videographer or they did something with the team, and they were sitting in front of us in the press area, and they were like, "That's a pen," and we were sitting behind and going, "It's not." So,
yeah, but she just comes out with stuff, and she's saying like with Bo Kearns, when Bo Kearns came on, they're talking about her technique and saying she pings corners in like that all the time. So it was a great insight into like a person who is in that squad, what goes on behind the scenes sort of thing. So it was really good because I know sometimes when you get players on, they're a bit nervous or they don't really know what to say, but she's kind of fitted in really well. And it was nice to watch and listen along to it.
Good. Hopefully that continues throughout the season for a couple of matches and whatnot. We don't know what.
There was 20,000 people at one point on the stream.
Really? I seen on Twitter that it did some numbers, like, and I think the LFC's Twitter page and stuff like that, like the socials did some decent numbers as well. And considering it was a 2:00 kickoff, 20,000 that is really good
on a weekday as well. Yeah,
exactly. So long may it continue, but we'll stick to the football matches for a minute. Obviously Chelsea, there was a load of other Conti Cup fixtures yesterday as well, but there was one Chelsea versus Arsenal. There was a bit of a kick-off on Twitter about this, I'd say.
It was,
especially amongst obviously Chelsea and Arsenal fans. It seemed to be a thrilling 4-1 game. Chelsea won 4-1 there. Obviously wasn't streamed live though, and now obviously our podcast last week was all about the FA player and what it gives you and whatnot, and obviously some of the games weren't streamed yesterday. It's just disappointing really that you've got some teams streaming them, some teams not. But then I seen I think it was Susie Rack
I'm just getting up her quotes now.
I was gonna say I'm just gonna get the tweet up, but she went to that game. A handful of journalists went to that game, obviously, to cover it. So they were obviously updating people on Twitter and whatnot. And I think at one point, I think Susie and then a couple of other journalists had put like a little bit of a video clip out on it.
That's what we did.
Yeah, and that's what we did for the penalties. Obviously, ours was streamed as well, so you would have seen them anyway. But because one of us was in the ground, we would have been, even if it wasn't streamed, we would have put those clips up. But I think a couple of the journos got a bit of a telling off from, I don't know whether it was the clubs or whether it was the FA or whatever.
I think it was the FA.
I think it was, yeah, for posting the videos, and it's just, it's proper, like, you just don't know how to feel about it, because obviously you really want to see these games, and it's not fair for fans, especially of those clubs, to have a game like that and them not be able to watch it, and then for the journalists who are there updating, not be able to give you the proper updates because they're not allowed to. It's like, well, who's allowed and who isn't then?
Yeah, it's super strange because at the end of the day, there is no football without fans. And I think that's what the FA need to remember, and especially at a time where fans physically can't go to games because they're not allowed, you should be doing all that you can to bring that coverage to the fans, because that's not just any game. That's a derby. It's a London derby. So, and it's up against two of the title contenders for this season. Even though it is in the Conti Cup, it doesn't matter. It's still a massive game that deserves to have the recognition it is. And I think it's happened with us before. We've sat here and have been like, well, Liverpool have proved that they can stream things. Why don't they do it all the time? So I don't think it's just singling out one club. I think it's all of them sometimes. And I think most of them will hold their hands up and say that. But for the FA to then tell people, stop giving people coverage when all they're trying to do is bring fans information and stuff, it just doesn't really make sense to me. And surely the game, the aim of everything is to grow the game. Yeah. And the only way you do that is to show it. So it was baffling to me. Yeah. But hopefully there'll be some sort of change in the future as to how they can combat that, because it just doesn't seem right, and it doesn't sit right with me either.
No, I don't think it sits right with anyone. I think the reaction from people on Twitter last night proved that. I'm just getting Susie's tweets up now, because she was obviously at the match. But yeah, it's
strange. I just want to know why, when you have people that are being paid there to cover the game, but you're telling them they can't show it to a certain extent. It's super strange. Yeah. Fair enough, the FA might have the rights to the goals, because I know we've had people tell us that before. Yeah. But if they aren't going to show them, someone else is going to take their responsibility to show it. So yeah, it's super strange.
Yeah. So just quickly, Susie tweeted last night. Honestly, a number of us journalists have made the trip, some to multiple games in a day, to cover Continental Cup fixtures that have not been broadcast by the FA or by clubs. Some, including myself with one fluke clip of a goal for Spurs earlier, have now been told by Chelsea that the FA have been in touch and we must stop posting any video content. I should stay quiet, but I seriously cannot take the ridiculousness of this situation. I really can't. We've given fans a tiny, tiny visual slice of events. So sorry, fans. To clarify too, I don't usually live tweet games or take video at all. I took one clip of a free kick during the Spurs game, and a couple of others took a tiny bit of match action here at Kings Meadow. I'm not like this. It's not like this is a regular infringement broadcast deals or anything like that. And that's true, because obviously if it is being broadcast and you're tweeting clips and whatnot, you know, the original broadcast has got every right to turn around to you and say, listen, this broadcast, we're getting this, this and this. Do not tweet anything. But if there's nothing there and there's journalists there trying to cover it, I don't see the issue in a journalist tweeting a video, especially if Susie tweeted one of a fluke goal for Spurs, so someone can actually see the goal. I don't see the issue with it. It's
super strange. I'm hoping that gets resolved, because it's not fair. I think we'd also be saying it's unfair if it had happened to us yesterday, but we were lucky enough to actually see it. I think City Everton was also on City Plus, but you had to subscribe to that, so even that's a little bit dodgy. I don't know whether that was a paid subscription. If it wasn't, fair enough. But if it was, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I did see one tweet about it though, where someone went to sign up to watch it, and you put email and all that, and then it comes up and says who's your favourite player, and it only gives you the men's team.
Yeah, I see.
It doesn't
that.
offer you the women's team. So she was like, "Well, that's not right either. If if you've got the women's team campaigning for people to sign up for City Plus, I think Rose Lavelle did a video for a game last week. Who's obviously a big signing. You've got them campaigning for people to sign up and subscribe, especially if you have to pay. But then people don't get the opportunity to say, oh, my favourite team, I prefer the women's team over the men's, and this is my favourite player. Then it's not inclusive for all who are
no, it's not
the subscription. So yeah, it's just
what we do is hope it gets resolved, or there's an agreement.
Yeah, just little things that just need to be reassessed, I think, to make it more inclusive for everyone.
Yeah.
Other news as well that was announced yesterday is that Mo Marley has retired from coaching. She brings an end to a 25-year association with the Lionesses as both a player and a coach. So obviously she was very much Merseyside based, played for Everton Ladies. I think she captained them to the title in '98, and then she won the FA Cup with them as well. She also went on to manage them. And obviously she's been involved with the Lionesses for a very long time. I think she was the current under-19s coach.
Yeah.
But I think just in general, a true legend of the game. Yeah. I think if you probably ask any of the current Lionesses now, especially like, the older ones, the more experienced lot, they'll highlight Mo Marley as someone who's been crucial to their journey into the Lionesses team. I think Tony Duggan mentioned it yesterday on her Instagram post. I think Nikita Paris did as well, obviously, because they were Merseyside based, so she's really, probably took them under their wing and really pushed them through the age groups and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I think she's been vital in more recent years as well for all the young Lionesses. I know when Niamh Charles used to play for us, she was under Mo Marley's wing quite a lot. I think Taylor Hines, who now plays for us, obviously is the same. I think she's been such a pivotal role in the development of young footballers. Yeah. And as you say, she's pioneered a way for women in sport, and will be at the forefront of that. And I hope she still stays involved, whether that's obviously not coaching anymore, but it'd be nice to see her in like the media side of things, giving her opinions and stuff, because she's a very knowledgeable woman in the world and realm of football. So it'd be a shame to not see her in it at all anymore. But yeah, you need people like that, don't you? You need someone to look up to, and she's definitely been that sort of person for a lot of players. And she's served extremely well. So hopefully she, as I said, she stays involved, but equally enjoys the retirement.
Yeah, I mean, 25 years is a
long time.
So to be involved with obviously with the same thing and whatnot, but yeah, summed up perfectly there. Just a proper pioneer for the women's football, just in general. I think, that had to be someone somewhere to kickstart something, and she was definitely one of those people. To kickstart a new generation and a new time of women's football. So, yeah, we wish her very well in her retirement. And like you said, hopefully we see a little bit more of her, whether that's behind the scenes, in front of the camera, giving opinions and whatnot. I think whatever she does, she'll be a real asset and a really interesting person to someone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but that's everything we've got listed on the agenda. Hopefully we haven't missed any big news.
Probably have.
We probably have. We do every week. Someone always comments and says, you didn't speak about this or whatever, and we just forget. We're very forgetful. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below about everything that we've discussed today. And we'll see you for a Leicester City build-up. Friday or Saturday. And then
big game.
Big match. It's being streamed as well on the FA Player. We can watch it. Wasn't about. So yeah, obviously all the live updates on Twitter and socials and stuff like that will be going out, and then post-match stuff. We'll do our best for that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all soon with a new video. Bye.
Bye.